Joining us now, Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly will make his first appearance on the Fox News Channel tonight on my program, Hannity, and it's brand new time, 9 o'clock, and we're really excited about having him. His book, Killing England, The Brutal Struggle for American Independence, now has been #1 on Amazon for the better part of at least, a week now, right?
It's doing really well. I mean, I'm very surprised since I don't have that perch. But first I got to tell all your listeners that you crush in your first night at 9 o'clock Eastern time last night. You crushed Maddow. Just absolutely wiped her off the face of the earth in the ratings.
Listen, it's not quite O'Reilly numbers.
To you.
You were the king of cable all those years.
Now.
You know, I said.
Here's why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's why that happened. Because most Americans, I put the number at 65%. know this whole NFL thing is bogus. It's garbage. And why it's garbage is because this is generated not by Colin Kaepernick, who I believe is a sincere man, by the way. I believe he feels that his country is not worthy. That's what he believes. But this thing is a Trump thing now. It's morphed into an anti-Trump protest. But 65% of Americans, as you just said, love their country, love their flag, love their anthem. They're not going to handle insulting the anthem and the flag very well. So that's what's happening. The folks knew last night on TV that you would put it in that perspective, whereas MSNBC and CNN would take the opposite tact and say, oh no, the dissenters are right, and you guys who really believe your country's noble, you're wrong. That's why this is happening.
Tell me about your comments. I liked your comments over Roger Goodell, who I think has lost total control over this, and I don't think he recovers.
You know what? I know him, and he's married to a former colleague of ours who I like very much, but they're being hypocritical. They have told the New York teams time and again, you cannot put anything on your uniform that signifies support for 9/11 families. You can't do it, okay? Well, all right. If that's your rule, then why are you allowing a political dissent on the field during the game?
Bill,
and so that made my blood boil.
It made listen, there was one player that wanted to honor his mother suffering from breast cancer with pink on his uniform. Then you have the case, you remember the 5 cops that were slaughtered in Dallas last year? Well, the Dallas Cowboys respectfully wanted to honor the police officers that was slain in the line of duty, and they were prohibited from doing it. And so,
yes.
Either you're going to allow political statements to be made or you're not going to, and you can't arbitrarily,
Very simple. Very simple.
It's so simple, but I'm not giving up on this. I'm not giving up because you know something, Bill?
No, look, the NFL is going to cave. They're going to cave. I predict right here on the Sean Hannity program. They're going to cave because they're not on the right side of the argument. Quality of dissent. Kaepernick and the others think America is a bad country. They think it actively keeps blacks and other minorities down. That's what they believe. What is that based on? What? Can you point to a general law that does that? Can you point to anything in the Constitution that does that? No. It's individual. Well, this happened in Ferguson, or this happened in Come on. If you're going to dissent and you're going to insult the flag, you got to know something. I probably submit to you, Killing England, about the Revolutionary War. I could give a quiz to the NFL players, and they'd all flunk. Maybe 10% would.
By the way, you know how many man on the street interviews I'd send people out, and we'd ask people who the vice president of the country is, and 9 out of 10 don't know. I mean, it's funny, it's entertaining, but it's insane.
We designed Waters World to just show everybody.
I know.
But I'm not being.
By the way, can I just say something?
Talking down to the NFL.
No, can I just say something? This is pretty funny. I mean, all this time, and you said, I don't know if I want to get back in the swamp, Hannity. I don't know if I want to get back in the sewer of cable news. You're sitting on the beach, and you're dying to get back, because I can hear the passion in your voice.
I'm yelling on the beach. I'm scaring the beachgoers. I'm frightening them.
You're scaring the fish, for God's sakes.
But look, look. That's why you did so well last night in the ratings, because people want rational voices, all right? And the voices of the far left are destroying the country. I think we're going to get into that tonight on television, all right? They're destroying it. And there are very few rational voices left to be heard. So when something like this comes along, it's not about Trump. Trump injected himself into it, yes. But it's about whether you believe the USA is noble or not. And if you don't, I want you to back that up. but they can't.
Look, we're all imperfect people. Look, I'm not the greatest Christian in the world, but I believe with all my heart, mind, and soul. We've all sinned, Bill. We've all fallen short. You know, Barry Farber, who was one of the great founders of talk radio, said there's never been a country like the United States of America that accumulated more power and abused it less, and accumulated more power to advance the human condition than this country. You know, there's a great column earlier today that was out 600 and Kobach wrote it. The Attorney General, I forget, where is he from? I forget. And he actually pointed out Kansas. Right. So more than 650,000 plus Americans have given their lives in defense of this country, our Constitution, our freedom, and our liberty. By the way, I want to stop you right there because I'm not letting you talk any more about issues because we're going to do this tonight. I do want to talk to you about something else. And I want you to bring all that passion to TV tonight, which I know you will. And I agree with you. Do you know I am being threatened today again? My show is being threatened, by these liberal fascists that monitor everything that we do, conservatives and talk radio and television. And they pay people to sit in their basements in their underwear and take notes and monitor every word and record every word. Do you realize I'm being threatened with another boycott effort just because I am allowing you to talk as an American citizen? Right.
And this is Media Matters. They are the most dangerous organization in America. They are totalitarians, liars across the board. But they'll lose because, again, people want rational thought. And they don't want
Bill, in all fairness,
fascism.
They don't always lose. They went after Dr. Laura. They've gone after you. Turning. But they've gone after Rush and Beck and me and everybody and Don Imus and Jeffrey Lord, for crying out loud.
It's turning. I really do. I think the tide is turning, and people are going to understand the danger of these people threatening, and that's the word, threatening speech. They're threatening speech.
No, they're trying to silence opposition voices, Bill, and voices they don't like. The most amazing thing, and I don't want to interrupt you, the most amazing thing is that it's the conservatives that are tolerant, not the left.
You don't have an organized cabal on the right trying to shut down free speech. Sometimes they get nasty on the right, sometimes they attack, but they're not going to sponsors saying, if you don't pull out, we're going to organize a boycott and demonstrate in front of your building. That's anti-American. That's what's happening. You know, look, this is exactly what happened back in 1774 when the King of England basically told everybody here in America, all right, if you say one word against the crown, we're going to put you in prison, okay? This is exactly the same thing. And we fought and died for 8 years in the Revolutionary War, okay, to get that out of here. And now these far-left cranks, these haters, have brought it back, and it's being accepted by some in the mainstream media. Think about how dangerous this is. So I'm as passionate as you are because I got caught up in this thing. You were gutsy enough to hit it straight on and beat it back, but they're not going away anytime soon.
You know what's so sad about all of this and where we are? My heart broke when the Jaguars were playing the Ravens in London, and they stood for God Save the Queen, Bill, right? Not for the national anthem.
And you know what? And here's what makes it worse. When I went over to Afghanistan in 2007 and Iraq in 2006, the military people over there who were fighting every day, one of their few relaxations is watching NFL games. Mm-hmm. You can imagine over there today what they're thinking, watching what's happening here. Why are we in Afghanistan? Why? We're there so that the poor people there can have some kind of freedom and some kind of life, in addition to not allowing a sanctuary for terrorists to attack us. We're good guys in Afghanistan, okay? And these people are kneeling in London, so all of these idiots who don't know anything about the USA can say, you see, told you it's a bad country. I mean, they are so misguided. I wish I could go to every NFL locker room and give out Killing England to every single player. We can read this, learn something.
You know what you said the last time?
My God.
Hey, well, it's frustrating. Listen, we're fighting for the soul. We're fighting for the soul of the country. We really are. The culture battles are now front and center.
More than that, though. We're fighting against corruption.
Oh, of course.
Corruption.
Goes with it.
You know, you have a mainstream media, the major newspapers and 2 out of the 3 cable networks and all the broadcast networks who basically say, hey, Media Matters, go ahead. Smear everybody you want. We're not going to investigate you. We're not going to tell the folks what you're doing. That's corruption. If it were happening on the right, they'd nail the conservatives to the cross. I mean, it's just crazy what's happening in America today.
Not one liberal host on any of those liberal networks, the real champions of freedom of speech, stood up for any conservative that was being boycotted or they're attempting to silence their voices.
Nobody, and they won't even, listen, when I came out and said one of those women was arrested in Detroit for filing a false police report,
they didn't report it.
They won't even print it.
All right, we'll take a break. A fired up Bill O'Reilly is with us. His book is out. It's called Killing England, The Brutal Struggle for American Independence. And don't forget, he will be joining us, his first appearance since leaving the Fox News Channel tonight, 10 Eastern. And we hope you'll tonight, 9 Eastern. We hope you'll set your DVR and join us tonight on the Fox News Channel. You don't want to miss it. Quick break. More with Bill O'Reilly on the other side. Straight ahead. All right, as we continue, Bill O'Reilly is with us. He has his latest bestseller out, Killing England, The Brutal Struggle for American Independence. Last time, you said something pretty profound that I want to go back to, because I do think this is a fight. When we were talking the last time about all the memorials and all the statues and all the things they want to take down, and they want to basically erase history. It's like George Orwell, 1984, coming to real life. And now we've got the NFL, and now that's the next battle in this. But you said something that I thought was really profound. Ultimately, it's the Constitution itself that they want to say is corrupt.
That's right.
And not acknowledge the beauty of our founders and framers is simple. They weren't perfect men. This isn't a perfect country. I'll go back to the quote I gave you on Barry Farber, and I can tell you this, that no country has done more for the advancement of humankind. But the beauty of that document is we correct wrongs, we correct evil, we correct injustices, and Bill, history has proven their wisdom, their insight, their intuition was right. If you give it to the people, they'll eventually, albeit slowly, get it right.
Well, Killing England, I wrote this book so that people would be armed and dangerous with facts about how this country was founded, who Washington, Jefferson, and Franklin, what they went through as men. And as you rightly pointed out, we don't gloss it over. They had bad things as well as good things. But I think Americans today take their freedoms for granted, and they shouldn't, because they're under assault. The goal of the far left is to rewrite that Constitution, and that's why they're using the words white supremacist. That's why they want to knock down the statues of Jefferson, change the names of the schools that Washington and Franklin are on, because they consider those bad men. We have to redo it in the socialistic point of view and get it into the American people's heads that we're not a good country. We need a complete overhaul.
Listen,
that's the end game.
All 4 of my grandparents came from Ireland, and they came here with nothing. And my grandparents and my parents, I stand on their shoulders, as I know you do, with the hope that we'd have a better lives than they had. And this will be the first generation where that may not happen because of what's happening. Are you excited to be on tonight? We're looking forward to having you.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I mean, I haven't been back to FNC since April. I'm looking forward to seeing the crews, the floor crews, and everybody. And I really appreciate you having the guts to invite me on. That's not an easy thing. And
you know what? Actually,
I
Bill,
everybody to know about BillO'Reilly.com. We do talking points every day and Killing England.
I like the book too. The Killing England: The Brutal Struggle for American Independence, #1 bestseller again. And we'll have you on the. Well, we saved a lot for tonight. I didn't get into one-fifth the one I want to talk to you about, so we'll do that tonight on Hannity, 10 Eastern.
For it, man.
All right, appreciate you being with us.